Hello, I am Laura Reinbach, and today I am going to show you how to work Japanese short rows. So what you'll need are some removable markers, such as these, or locking stitch markers, like these. Whichever one you prefer is fine. Okay, let's get started. So we'll just need to work across to our turning point, which would be stated in your pattern. So for our swatch, we will just knit across to the other side. Okay, so here we are. We'll say this is our turning point. So the first thing you'll do is turn your work over. So the purl side is showing. You'll take one of your removable or locking stitch markers and you're going to place it onto the working yarn. Okay, now the next step is slip your stitch purlwise to the right hand needle. Make sure your stitch marker is pulled up closely there, and we're just going to purl across to the other side and place another short row marker. And let me just show you what it looks like. Here is your little marker hanging there. Okay, so as we purl across, okay, and now we are at our next turning point. So first step, turn your work over. And now we have the knit side facing us. Take your stitch marker and you're going to place it onto your working yarn, just like you did with the last one. And the next step is to slip that stitch purlwise onto your right hand needle, and then we just need to make sure our stitch marker is up close there, and just knit back across. And I am just going to place a couple of more markers, and then I will show you how to pick them up and close the gap. Okay, and here we are at our next turning point. So turn your work over, take your stitch marker and put it onto the working yarn. Then slip the stitch purlwise onto your right hand needle. Make sure that stitch marker is up close and purl back across to your next turning point. Okay, and here we are at our next turning point. So just turn your work over. Knit side is showing. Take your stitch marker, oops, and place it onto your working yarn. Then you will slip the stitch purlwise onto the right hand needle. Pull that stitch marker up snugly, and we will knit across. Let me just show you. Let me turn this out. I'm just going to show you all the stitch markers. So they just kind of hang out as you're working your short rows. Okay, so let's pick them up now. So I'm going to knit across to the ones over here. Okay, so when you turned your work, it created a gap, and you can see that gap there, and that is where you're going to knit to. So there's your marker. So let's knit these last two stitches, that's the gap. Here is your marked stitch. So what you're going to do is you're just going to pull up on the stitch marker, and you can see the loop there. And you're just going to place it right onto your left needle, and then you'll knit these two together. Just like that. And then you can remove the stitch marker. Okay, and let's do the next one. So we'll knit up to the gap, which is right past your marker. You can see it here. Here we are. And pull up on your stitch marker so you can see that loop there, and then just place it right on your left needle and knit these two stitches together, which closes the gap. And let me knit that last stitch. Okay, and I'll just remove this, and you can remove it whenever you want. You could do it after you've picked all of them up and just do it at once. All right, so now we're going to purl across and pick up the short row markers on the purl side. Okay, and same thing, we're going to purl right up to the gap, which you can see is right here. And you're just going to pull up on the stitch marker and lift that loop right onto your left needle, and then since it's the purl side, we're going to purl these two together. And if you feel like the stitch marker is getting in your way, you can certainly remove it before you purl them together. And let's do our second one. So purl right up to the gap, which you can see is right there. There we go. And lift that stitch marker up, put the loop right onto your left needle, and purl those two stitches together. And I'll purl that last one. And let me just take these off, and then I will show you how it looks on the front. So I will knit one more row just to give you a better idea, but right now it's a nice invisible short row method. There you go. I hope this video was helpful to you, and you can now do your own Japanese short rows. Thank you.